Hi everyone, it's Tanya, and today we're going to be talking about Cloud Whip. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Cloud Whip and the different uses for it and show you some things you can do. If you stick around to the end of the video, I am going to make a card with one of the samples I make today using this really pretty floral confetti stencil from scrapbook.com. I thought this would be a great time to do a Cloud Whip video since scrapbook.com is hosting a Cloud Whip parade and I am joining in on that. If you haven't already, I have another video with a card made with Cloud Whip that you can check out. I will link that below. Also, as of today, October the 6th, 2023, you can get a free 2-ounce jar of Cloud Whip from scrapbook.com. Just check out my links below. Before we get started, I just want to apologize ahead of time for the background noise. Apparently, they have decided to do construction on our road today, of all days. So there is some background noise, and I do apologize for that ahead of time. So let's get started with creating and talking about Cloud Whip. So let me get some of this. So I've just got a piece of mixed media card out for samples today, a piece of black card that I've already masked with some mint tape, and I've got used the 1-inch mint tape for that. So let's talk a little bit about Cloud Whip. So this is a 12-ounce jar of Cloud Whip, and this is a pretty new jar. I've only used out of it a couple times now. When you get your jar, it's going to come with a seal on it, and you don't have to keep this on there, but I've just put it back because I'm going to probably seal it up with some press and seal, but I haven't got to that yet. You're going to have a little pack in there that helps keep it fresh, and I am going to keep that in mind. Now, when you first get Cloud Whip, you're going to think, oh no, my jar is dried out, because as you can see, it's pretty hard. It's not super soft, but the more you work with it, the softer it gets, the more pliable it gets, and it's made to be this way so that you can mix stuff in with it. So you can mix all sorts of things in with it. Water, you can use the scrapbook.com pops of color, you can use Nuvo drops. If you have those, of course, I mean white and white, you may not want to do that. You can use re-inkers. So we're going to go through some of that stuff today. You can use liquid watercolor. There's so many things you can mix in with it. So we're going to talk about some of that today. And I will tell you, I'm fairly new to using Cloud Whip myself. So I'm still learning some of the do's and don'ts with it. I do recommend a metal palette knife if you have one, instead of the plastic ones. I just feel like these work better. I actually broke my palette knife the other day, so I'm waiting for my new ones to get here. And the first thing we're going to do is, as you can see, I've just been messing around with the Cloud Whip in the top of the jar a little bit, and I'm going to scoop a little bit of this out on here and just show you. And I may get a little bit more. Let's just get a little more out. I don't think I need that much, but what we don't use, we'll use for something else. And as you can see, the more you work with it, the softer it gets, the easier it spreads around. And like I said, if you want it even softer, you can add a little bit of water to it. So let's go ahead and start with a stencil. So I'm just going to place, and I know it's probably hard to see because it's black cardstock, but I'm just going to place my black cardstock. Actually, let's put it up here. That'll be better. I think you'll be able to see it better. And let's move this jar of Cloud Whip up away for the moment. If I need some more of that, we'll get it out. Let's get the stencil out. So again, this is just a floral confetti stencil, and everything I'm using I will link below. And I'm just going to place this on my mat. Oh, wait a minute. Let's do, I don't think there's a right side, but let's see. There we go. And I'm just gonna add just a little bit of mint tape to the top to hold it down, because I don't want it to move, and maybe a little piece at the bottom. Okay. So once you get your Cloud Whip to where you think it's a good consistency for spreading it out, and I am having trouble seeing that. Okay, so I readjusted a bit here, and I put a piece of white card underneath of the piece that I want to stencil on, and I did that so you could see where the black card was, and I could see where it was, because I couldn't even see where I had stuck that. So I'm just going to take my palette knife, and I'm just going to press some of this on, and you can do this with just a palette knife if you want, but I like this scraper from scrapbook.com because you can just really like flatten it out. And if you see you missed a spot, just go in, add a little more. Okay, I'm going to scrape this off. We'll get some more for the bottom. We'll add it down here. And you don't have to leave this smooth. It is like a texture paste. So if you want to leave texture on yours, that is perfectly fine. So let's take our scraper again. I'm just going to scrape that on there. I'm just going it over one more time. And we're going to scrape off what's on here. And to keep that from drying on there, I'm just going to use, you can use a wet paper towel, but I have some wet wipes here that I'm just going to use to wipe this off for now. Now let's remove our stencil. And you can clean that up with soap and water. If you're not going to use it right away again, then I would recommend going ahead and either putting that in some water to sit until you're done, or to go ahead and clean it off. So as you can see, that is perfectly stenciled. Now I am going to try to carefully go ahead and remove this mint tape like this. And there you have it. So I'm going to set this aside to, I'm going to set this aside to dry, and we'll come back to this in just a little bit. Now that we've seen how Cloud Whip works through just by itself through a stencil, let's move on to a couple other things. So let's start with how you can mix some things in. So I'm just going to use what I have here on my little silicone mat. And you can mix this on your media mat. You could mix it on your, if you have one of these scrapbook.com silicone mats, you can use it and mix it on any of these or put it on any of these. It'll be fine. Let's see. Let's try Pops of Color. So this is Pops of Color from scrapbook.com, and this is the Glitter Black Magic. And this is a new one, so I've got to remove the little cap out the center. And we'll toss that away. Just put this back on. We'll just add a little bit of that. And this is the first time I'm trying the glitter kind in there, but that's kind of pretty. Mixing the glitter in. And you can mix as little or as much as you want in there with it. Add a little bit more. And as you can see, you see how adding that kind of softens it up a bit. Let's take this and kind of scrape this off here. Okay, let's take our piece of paper we pulled out. Let's just apply a little bit of this up here. And you can go as thin or thick as you want to go. Let's do a little bit more over here and we'll kind of give it a little bit thicker look. Oops. And you can also kind of texturize it if you want. So I think that's going to be really pretty once it dries. Okay. You know what? I know that's got glitter in it, but we're just going to add another color. Let's go ahead and just add, got this. Let's do a little purple in there. Oh, another one I need to open. And I dropped my top. Okay. My chair is still squeaking. Okay, let's add a little bit of the purple. We're going to have purple and glitter. Let's see how that does. And you could use this for so many things. If you do mixed media projects, if you do scrapbooking, or even just card making, that's what, I mean, I mainly do card making. I do some mixed media and things. Of course I do other crafts, but I'm saying for this, it would be great for all of those types of things. And that turned out a pretty color. So let's just put a little bit of that on here. And then do the same thing we did with the other side. We'll just put a thicker layer on. Let me try to scrape as much of this up off of here. And you can texturize it. There we go. So I'm going to wipe this stuff off and then we'll be back to do another test. So all that is cleaned off, and before I forget, the purple I used is Deep Orchard. So let's try putting a little bit more on here. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do 2. Let's soften this up a little bit. We're going to undo this one. And let's see, we'll try a re-inker this time. Let's go with some Lumberjack Plaid, and this is the Tim Holtz Distress Re-Inker, and I'm just going to put a little drop in there. And you see how it's got the kind of, you can see the white in it. You could use it that way if you want it kind of that marbly look. or you can just keep mixing it until it is completely mixed together. It's up to you. I see a Christmas project in my future using this in this color. Okay, so let's just spread a little bit of that on there. It's not going to be as much this time because I didn't put as much on the palette here. I'll just scrape up what's left. We'll put that down. And we'll give it some texture. And I did not mix this one as thin as the others, so it's quite a bit thicker. So there you go. And you, as you can see, you can press your finger in it to use as to give it texture. Okay, so that was the Distress Ink Reinker in Lumberjack Plaid. And let's see. Let me get this off my fingers. I do have the Distress Reinker Lumberjack Plaid in Oxide also. So let's see if we can find that one. And let me shake that up. And we'll try that on the next one. Okay. Curious to see how this works with it, because I have not tried this one. I'm just wonder if it's going to dry a different color, since this is oxide. And let's try adding just a little, oh, let me grab my water bottle. Excuse my squeaky chair. Let's just add just a little water to the side to thin it out and see if it does anything to that reinker, since it's an oxide. Okay, let's apply that. And we'll get the rest of it off here. We're just going to leave this one kind of thicker. Again, give it a little bit of texture. And there we go. So this is kind of where it's dry and is lightening up quite a bit. That's really pretty. It's also got look like a little purpley tint in there. So we're going to let this dry and we're going to come back to it. One thing I do want to show you is this was from a card I made the other day. And I just applied the extra on here, and you see it's got texture to it. This was just a scrap piece of paper. But this is completely dry. This has been sitting for a couple days. And I just want to show you, you can literally bend this and it does not crack. So it's very pliable once it's dry, which is really neat. So just thought I'd show you that. Okay, I'm going to clean this up and we're going to do one more thing. And then we'll start making the card. Okay, I have some more Cloud Whip out. And we're just going to soften that up again. And this is the last of our little test experiments for today. And this one, and I'm sure it's going to work the same as the Pops color, but we're just going to do the Nouveau drops. And I'm going to do, this is Ebony Black. And since we don't have room on our other little card, we're just going to put it on this one I just showed you where I did the orange the other day. And again, like I said, you can mix it as little or as much as you want. So we'll put a little thin layer here. And then we'll put the rest on kind of thick. And we'll give it a little texture. And there you have it. So that's what the Nouveau drops look like. This would be really great if you're doing like a brick wall stencil or something. That would be kind of cool to use with the texture. Okay, so now you've seen that, I'm going to let these dry and I'll show you what they look like once they're dry, and we'll get started on our card. Now that I've showed you some different uses for Cloud Whip, and we've talked a little bit about all the things you can mix in, and I showed you some of that, well, let's make something with this stenciled piece that we did at the beginning of the video. So for this, I already added a backing to it with just some white card I had. And I did that just so that it would stand out from my card base a little bit more without using any kind of foam tape. I have an A2 top fold card base that I'm going to use. I have a white piece that we're going to put in the middle of this where we had the mint tape masking that off. So that's going to go there. And this is cut at 4 inches long by 2 inches wide. I have just this hello cutout. And this is just a die I have had since I got my very first die cutting machine. I think Cricut made it. I am not quite sure. So I'm sure you can't still get it, but I will link some hello dies in the description below. And you may have a different die you want to use. You may want to say thanks or whatever. So this is just showing you an idea for this card. And you can use, like I said, whatever dies you want. For mine, I cut this same hello out 8 times, and I have just glued them all together except for the last one, and I'm going to do that with you right here. So we're going to do that now, and the reason I do this is I don't want to have to use foam tape, but I want that dimension, and I just really like the way that this looks. You really get that nice thick lettering on your card with no foam tape. And don't get me wrong, I love my foam tape. I use it almost every time I make a card on something, but for this one we're going to just use this, and you're just going to make sure you get this nice and lined up. I like to pick mine up and just kind of make sure all the little edges line up where they're supposed to. And I hope that the noise from outside isn't as bad. I did shut the window. I guess they're putting rock down on the road today. We live on a dirt road, so I guess they're putting gravel down today or something. I don't know. They're making a lot of noise, and they've been out there since early this morning. My poor Yorkie is just, he don't know what to do with himself at this point. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to attach this to the card base. And I'm just using my scrapbook.com artist glue. And I do use tape runners, but for things like this, I really like to be able to adjust if needed. And I just find it so much easier when you use glue. Okay. So this is cut so that you get a nice white frame. And I love a nice black and white card. I just think it's something so elegant about a black and white card. Okay, so we're going to place this here, and you know I am debating on this one. Do we want to add any inking around the edges? Let's do a little bit of inking around the edges of this. Let's see. My brush may have enough on it already because I don't want to do a lot. Just get a little. I'm going to need some ink. Okay, let's see. I'll use my little mini Distress ink and black soot. And again, I'm just going to try to and I don't want it to go far on there, just a little light color around the edge. Now, I am going to just use the tape runner for this, because I think this will be pretty easy to line up anyway. So let's just put that right in the center, like that. And now we're going to add some glue to this and put it here, and I do think that I want to put this so it's going like this, not straight. I want it like this. I think that'll look cute. For some reason, it looks like, no, it's not. It just looked like that was lifting for some reason, but it's not. Okay, and again, we're just going to put this on here at an angle like this. Press that down, hold it for a minute. Now I could leave this card just as it is, and I think it will be perfectly fine. But I'm going to use my pops of color, and I am just going to go in and add a little dot into these flowers, especially these larger ones. And you don't have to do this if you don't want, but I just think they could use it. And don't worry about getting them perfect. Because we all know nature is not perfect. There are flaws in things. I do wish that I had noticed that I did not press the top of this down very well before putting the Pops color on. Let's see if I can fix that real quick. It's the second time I've done this. Oh, well, wait. Yes, it's coming loose right here. See if I can get under there without, I don't know why that came loose. This is what I love about this glue and the Barely Art glue. They have those little thin tips, and if you do something like this, you can get it up underneath of there to get glue in there. Ah, there we go. Fixed it. Okay, so see the difference between what it looks like at the top with the dots and at the bottom without? I think the dots make a big difference. And this is the Pops of Color, and this is just the gloss black. And there you have it. This card is so quick and easy to make. It's basically just stenciling the Cloud Whip through that really nice stencil from scrapbook.com and letting that dry. And while you're letting that dry, you can be cutting out your extra pieces and gluing them together. And then it's just basically assembling and adding your little dots, which you don't have to do if you don't want to. But I thought the dots really made it pop. And like I said, I really love a nice just black and white card. And I really like the having a hello card on hand. Just a little thank you. You could use it as a thank you. You can just add it with a little gift if you're like, if you have a neighbor who did something nice, or if they're not feeling well, or they just need a little cheering up. How cute would it be just to give them this little card with a bag of candy or a little care package? Let them know you're there and you care about them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I definitely hope you try the Cloud Whip. So before we go, let's take a look at the Cloud Whip that we put down on the paper at the beginning of the video, just so you can see what it looks like now that it's basically almost dry. I mean, it's still, I can touch it and it's not coming up, so it's definitely usable now. But if you look, you can see that's the Cloud Whip with the Nuvo and the ebony black. And then here is the other ones we did. So this is the Cloud Whip with the Pops of Color in the Black Magic Glitter. This is the Cloud Whip with the Pops of Color in the Deep Orchard. And I like how this is kind of like puffy. That one's still a little bit damp. This is the Cloud Whip with the Tim Holtz Distressed Reinker in Lumberjack Plaid. I really like, I don't know if you can see this on camera, the color here. Like, as it's drying, it's got that little bit of a purpley tint in it, which is kind of neat. And this is the Cloud Whip with the Tim Holtz Lumberjack Plaid, and this is the Distressed Oxide, and I think this one's still a little bit damp too. Not much, but a little bit. So there is a difference between the two colors from the ink and the oxide. The oxide's definitely got more of a, I want to say a pastel-y kind of look to it. I guess where the oxide activated from putting the water in it. So you've definitely got two different colors there that would work good together, but are different. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you'll give Cloud Whip a try. Don't forget to check the link below in my description box and to see how you can get your free 2-ounce jar of Cloud Whip from Scrapbook.com. Also, make sure you check out my other video for the other card I made for the Cloud Whip Parade. And make sure you check out Scrapbook.com's Cloud Whip Parade. There are a lot of great projects that other designers have shared for the parade. And you can get some really great ideas for different uses for the Cloud Whip and different cards that you can make. So I highly recommend you check that out. There will be a link below for where you can check that out. I appreciate you watching the video. As always, everything will be linked in the description box below. They will be my affiliate links. I do make a small commission off those links, but it's at no additional cost to you. And by you purchasing from those links, it helps me to keep this channel going and helps me to keep sharing projects with you. I also want to say thank you for watching, and I ask you to please, if you like this video or any of my videos you watch, to give them a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel. YouTube really likes it when we get those thumbs up and people subscribe. It gets our videos shown more, it gets them put out there more, and it definitely helps our channels grow. So I appreciate you watching, and again, please make sure to check out the links. Check out how you can get your free jar of Cloud Whip as of October the 6th, 2023. That's when the Cloud Whip Parade is going on with Scrapbook.com, and you can get a free 2-ounce jar of this. And why not get a free jar and try it out? So, thanks again for watching, and I hope you have a great day.